here's how I would write the Game of Thrones successor series, right? The first thing we really got to address is Bran the Broken. And what I need from Bran, bro, is evil. But I'm not talking about like evil like the Mad King Aerys evil or fucking Maegor the Cruel. I'm talking about ritualistic evil beyond comprehension. Doing things that regular people wouldn't understand. I need him to be a cannibal, practicing blood sacrifice, importing fire mages, right? Like from R'hllor, all that. Sacrificing priests. I need him to be doing things of that nature. He needs to really be into like green sight, warging, all that shit. He has to constantly be using his powers, and the blood sacrifice should be the fuel in which he is able to project his power as much as he does, as far as he does. He should constantly be manipulating and moving pieces all across Westeros for reasons that are beyond the regular person's comprehension, right? But he knows. And he should be married to Mira, and they should have like a genuine, true loving connection for reasons we'll get into later. But all of this should be wildly unpopular, like amongst the lords and ladies of the realm, because Westeros has already had a sorcerer, all-seeing eye flock camera, Hand of the King, right? And that was in Bloodraven, and he was wildly unpopular. Everybody fucking hated him. And having a king like that in Bran should be reflected, is because keep in mind, this shit is frowned upon. The things that he's doing, right, this like warging shit is frowned upon in the north. It's frowned upon with the wildlings, right? The people who like are more familiar with this hate it. So the southerners who are like not familiar with this shit at all should despise his ass. Like he should genuinely be one of the most hated kings in Westeros like history. But they can't do anything about it because he rules that motherfucker with an iron fist, and he's evil, and he kills and sacrifices people. Like he's killing people for even the slightest utterance of treason. For the smallest infraction, they're dead sacrifice. And the reason he does these sacrifices should be because he's losing his powers. And that horrifies him. And the reason that horrifies him is because he made a deal with the others. The others will be the big bad of this series, but an actual big bad. I forgot what episode it was, but in one of those episodes, he's like projecting himself into Everwinter, where the others are, right? And the other realizes he's there and he grabs him. And in that moment, there should be a communication between the other and Bran. Not a sit-down communication. I'm not saying the other's like, hey, how you doing, Bran? My name's John Cold. I'm actually here to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, bro, is that the others should take Bran, project into his mind, right, the entire history of that world. And that history should be life forms, life expands, others come and wipe out that life. And it should be a cycle replaying on loop over and over and over and over, like multiple times throughout, you know what I'm saying? Throughout the timeline of that planet. And Bran should try to escape from this, but not be able to. Like, he should be trying to rip himself free of his grasp, but he can't fucking do it. And he can't astral project himself out of there either, right? He's completely, like, just grabbed by this other. This is all happening in, like, the time frame of that grasp, by the way. Like, he grabs him, and then time slows down, but they're communicating, like, in like, this weird way, right? That we can't really fathom. But in this contact, right, Bran should be able to see what the other wants. He should feel what the other feels, and the other should feel what Bran feels too. This isn't an enemies to lovers shit, by the way, right? They're not gonna fuck here. But what I am saying is that Bran makes a deal, and this is a bloody deal. This is a heavy-handed deal. This is the deal that justifies the loss in the previous series. You know what I'm saying? We got to incorporate the losses, the bad decisions of the previous writing room. But in exchange for his freedom and another lifetime of preparation, Bran promises the others the destruction of the wall, Dany's dragons, Dany herself to be converted into a other, Jon Snow himself to be converted into an other, the lives and souls of all of the people who die in the coming long night, and lastly, Bran promises himself to the others so that they can use his green sight in perpetuity. I need green sight to be a distinctly human ability, right? That the others can't replicate in any way. The others have goals beyond our understanding as well, right? And for whatever reason, they need Bran's green sight. Maybe there's an even bigger big bad. All right, let's not even. But that will be the motivating factor behind Bran's iron-fisted rule and his blood magic and cannibalistic sacrifice. because he knows that upon his death, the covenant with the others will be fulfilled. And he will be sitting next to the Night King as a other in perpetuity. That will make him stand. He'll be standing next to the other, right, in perpetuity, with his green sight being used to further whatever purpose that they have. And on top of being forced to serve in perpetuity to the other, right, to the Night King, it will also bring about an end to the age of man, thus repeating the cycle one more time yet again. And making the others exponentially more powerful, because now they got a guy that can see all timelines, all futures, and what everybody's doing at all times. So the future generations of man will, whereas there's a chance that man could win, in the future there will be none, because they see all. The others will see all through Bran. Now, of course, the lords and ladies of Westeros don't fuck with this at all, right? They don't know, right? They're just like, and why would they fuck with that, right? Here we have a cannibal king who does sacrifice and is ruling upon a broken realm that his family helped separate. He would be extremely unpopular. Nobody would know what the fuck he's doing. Bran can't explain himself to these people. He can't articulate that shit. How do you explain shit beyond your comprehension to somebody else's comprehension? And they can't comprehend half the shit you can comprehend. You feel me? So that should be Bran's dilemma. And the whole time, right, the entire season, what I want to see on the Bran POV chapter, the place where the other grabbed him on his arm, I want us to constantly be looking at it, and I want it to have like a big black and blue mark, and it constantly gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it spreads all over his body. He's wearing gloves, he's wearing thick shit, right? Because he can't let the people see. And on top of that, I want Bran to be going insane, right? He's arguing with a hallucination that's not really a hallucination. Our King Bran should be arguing with a child version of himself. That child version of himself is projecting himself into the future using the powers of that weirwood tree. And they're going back and forth throughout the entirety of the series. The child version of Bran is arguing about how he went too far, the deal was bad, how he sacrificed everything, and King Bran should be going back and forth with him, talking about how he had no choice, he did what he had to do. But that's it, bro. That's just how I'd portray the Bran shit, right? That's how I'd have that would be the conflict of King Bran throughout my series. And whole time there's shit going on in Essos. All right, I'm not finna go over all that, bro. I'll make a video about that shit later, but I'm about to go work out.